for me to make because like the characters were too overpowered at the beginning of Shippuden. Let's get back into this, alright? So, of course, there's still going to be Naruto, but Naruto is going to be a really big spoiled brat who wants everything, and she gets it because Minato and Kushina don't know what to do. Like, they can't slap her or anything because that's child abuse. They can't hit her at all. And, like, the brothers don't want to do anything to her because she's annoying. Christian is the most calm one. Naruto is the most hot-headed, is the one who always yells at his sister whenever she yells at their parents to give her something. They were all given plushies / stuffed animals when they were 4 for their birthdays. Naruto was given a nice frog. Christian was given a 7-tailed kitsune fox. That was actually orange, which looked like the 9 tails, but it wasn't. Oh yeah, remember, they all have 25% of the 9 tails in them. Actually, don't know. Only Christian and Naruto had the 9 tails. Cause, yeah. One day when they're 5 years old, Christian is in his room just hanging out playing with his little plushie. Out of nowhere, Naruto busts into his room and says, give me that plushie. Christian says, nope. She goes, give it, now! He puts it to the side and says, no! She closes the door and pulls out a kunai knife. And then she starts to tug on him when he's doing this. Then she pulls out the kunai knife and cuts the head off. Christian goes, out of nowhere, Minato and Kushina sense big chakra coming from Christian's room. Out of nowhere, the door blows down. They see Naruto flying, breaking through the door, falling back through the door with a hole in the door from her. Minato says, Naruto, what happened? He goes into the room and sees Christian going. He realized that his nails are super sharp, and then Christian opens his eyes, going. His eyes are in his QB-eyed form. Out of nowhere, he'd go to strike Minato. Minato would dodge easily. Christian goes. He's wondering why he's like this. Then he asks Kushina to help calm him down while he looks for the source on why he's actually mad. Kushina hugs him, trying to calm him down. Then Minato looks to the ground and sees. He sees that his plushie has its head ripped off. When Christian finally calms down, he starts to cry. Minato asks him who did this, and Christian says that Naruto said that she demanded the plushie, and when I say no, she tried to tug on it and cut it open with a kunai. Minato was furious with that, not because his daughter ripped up his son's thing, but the fact that she pulled out a kunai and closed the door. He's mad about that. He's like, my daughter just almost killed my son. So he storms over to Naruto, slapping him on the face for the first time ever, saying, that is not what you do. You do not lock someone in a room and pull out a kunai on them. That is not good. Naruto starts to cry and runs to her room. Christian's still crying a lot since he lost his favorite toy. Kushina says that she'll fix it. Christian stops instantly, and every day from there on until like 5 months later, he's watching Kushina resew it. About 5 days later, Kushina finally fixes sewing it up. He gets it back, and then his life goes pretty normal. And Naruto was grounded for 5 days. Next, Naruto, again, a year later, would come in his room, telling him that she better give him that plushie or things are gonna end bad. Christian being more angrier than ever when she storms into his room. He says, you have 5 seconds to get out of this room, or else. She goes, you're not gonna do anything. Now, Naruto is pretty much spoiled just like her, because he's a bratty. Naruto and Christian are just normal, but Naruto's just hot-headed and Christian's calm. Minato and Kushina don't think that they can handle Naruto and Naruto because of how spoiled they're being. One day, Naruto devises a plan for Naruto and her to go beat up Naruto, so Christian will come in and then they'll set up a trap. Naruto agrees to this, and when one day they bust into Naruto's room, starting to beat him up, Christian instantly walks into the room, clueless. Then he's hit by a bowling ball that pins him down. Then him and Naruto are beaten up until Christian says, why do you... Okay, no, I'm kidding. Christian says, you better let me go or things are gonna get bad, Naruto. She goes, what are you gonna do? Christian appears behind her and says, this. Damn it. Christian appears right behind Naruto and says,
you win some, you lose some.
Then punches her forward, hitting the wall. Then he'd appear right behind Naruto saying,
Yard, you play with fire and sometimes you get burned.
And then he doesn't punch Naruto, he wants to make him suffer for what he did to Naruto. He goes, with the Kurama voice goes, with Naruto and Naruto on the ground bloodied up. Not bloodied up, but like beaten up. They have noticeable scars. He doesn't care if they're on a team or not. You'd rather him and Sasuke, and he hates crap, my controller's damn sick. Yar hard, yar hard, shift. It's Ellen. Alright, so there's something new in the... So when Minato and Kushina get home and they see what the hell happened, they must have suspected that Naruto and Naruto beat up Naruto again, and Christian stepped in. All night, Naruto can only think of Naruto and Naruto can only think of those words. You win some, you lose some, and you play with fire, and sometimes you get burned. Those thoughts are going through, driving through their heads. Then they can't sleep at all. Moving on to Halloween, Christian wants to cosplay as a pirate. He goes, Christian devises a funny thing with the class. Except for his siblings, except for Naruto, Naruto still does it with him. When Iruko walks into the classroom, he sees that they're all wearing their costumes. When Naruto walks in, Christian says,
Do what you want, 'cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. You're
and then the class goes,
being a pirate is a recipe. Do what you want, 'cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. You are a pirate.
alright, let's,
Do
so,
what you want, 'cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate.
that was Christian that says it, and then I know the whole class just goes bass boosted going, even Kiba liked the plan, and he's a simp for Naruto. And they're like 6 years old, just saying. Moving on to the graduation exam. Oh yeah, Christian's elements are fire, lightning, and wind. And he has a secret element called dark element. Moving on to the graduation exam. So, Christian would pass easily, so would Naruto and all that crap. Moving on to the team selection, it's Naruto, Christian, and Taruto. Christian says, why them? Why? They're so annoying. He goes, Ruka says that they all have equal scores, so they should be on the same team. Christian says, no I don't, I'm at the top of the class. There, Naruto's at the mid, and those two are at the bottom because of how spoiled brats they are. Out of nowhere, Naruto would say, shut up, you demon! Christian says, once again, you say that again, you're done. He goes, say it again, I dare you. She says, okay then, demon. Christian says, alright. Kiba says, he's not going to do anything to my girl, is he? He appears right behind her. Says,
you win some, you lose some.
He goes, yar, you win some, you lose some. Then kicks her in the face. Then appears right in front of her, grabbing her face, saying,
Yarg, you play with fire, and sometimes you get burned.
Everyone says, hey demon, let go of her! Christian throws her against the wall. And out of nowhere, five of them jump at Christian ready to punch him for what he just did. Christian says, that's it. And they all fall to the floor. They go, what the? He goes, come at me again and I'll make it worse. Kiba's not scared of him, so he runs at him. Christian says, that's it, you done did it. He says, you've done it now. He goes, scaring the hell out of Kiba's ears. He goes, and just for extra measures, he appears right behind Kiba, going, no, that's just fun, putting FNAF jump scares as he's yelling. Then Christian would grab Kiba by the hair, going, and that's it for Kiba. This man's done for. Christian throws Kiba right onto Naruto, saying, take care of your boyfriend, loser. Christian starts to get more fearsome and goes and sits next to Sasuke because he's not that annoying. Christian says, I agree why you call Naruto and basically almost everyone else in this class a loser. It brings out stress. Sasuke agrees, saying yes, calling people losers are pretty much stress. And when they can't do anything to you, it's pretty much better. Christian says, I think I'm going to start calling Naruto and Taruto losers. That seems fun. Christian says, I'm sad that I can't be on a team with you, Sasuke. You're calm, you're not annoying. Out of nowhere, Iruka announces that Sasuke and Sakura will also be on the team. Christian says, okay, I'm okay with Sasuke, but her? I already got one annoying person on the team. He says, Christian points at kunai to Iruka saying, I swear to flip. You put Kiba on this team, and I'll make sure this kunai goes right through your throat. He says, and Kiba. Christian goes, I am done with this. He goes, he yells up, he goes, oh, God. Everyone says, what is with his noises? How can he do that? Christian says, one more word out of any of you, and I will make sure that everything bad happens to you. Christian says, you put one more person on this team, and I will jump scare you to death. He goes, and Christian says, he says, and one more person. Christian says, before he can announce it, Christian goes, and stops it so they don't have to hear it. He says, Iruka, no! We're having a 7-man team, and that's all I care about! Naruto says, shut up! Christian says, shut it, loser. Kiba says, don't talk to my girl like that. Christian says, God damn, you're a fucking simp, Kiba. He goes, Christian says, that's it. Kiba jumps at him with a fang over fang. Christian says, and he is scared as f because of that. Christian says, you say one more word, and I will make this hook go down your throat. When Christian arrives home and when he's sleeping, Naruto says, this is for attacking me at school. She pulls out a kunai knife and cuts off one of his hands. Christian ends up screaming in the middle of the night with Naruto running straight back to her room before anyone can hear her. He goes, ah! Or actually, the FNAF 1 jump scare would fit this so perfectly, so he goes, when Naruto cuts off his hand, he goes, damn it, give me a second. He goes, Kushina and Minato say, what is that? What's that noise? Kushina says, that's one of Christian's many noises that he can make somehow. With chakra malib. They walk into his room. Kushina and Minato rush to his room with Naruto right behind them. They see that Christian's hand is off. It's fully decapitated off his hand. He goes, I don't have an arm. He says, I don't got a hand. He goes, what are we gonna do? Christian says, if you can forge a metal hook, then I'd love to fight with one. He goes, that would sound cool. They decide to put it on him. Minato asks the best engineers in the Leaf Village to make his son a robotic hook. They ask him why, and they say that someone cut off his hand. When they put it on, they seal it on perfectly, so that it won't be able to come off. Christian says, and they say that can also turn around, spin around, and he also can use that as a weapon. Christian says, I will make whoever paid did this. Christian says, and there's only one person who did it. Out of nowhere, a hole appears in Naruto's door. Christian rips down the door, going, so, it was you, huh? Then breaks the door down, saying, he says, I'm gonna make sure I tear you apart. Right here and now. His hook spins on his hand. He goes, he says, you're not going anywhere. He says, you're not going anywhere. If you think you're going anywhere, then you're done. He says, I don't know where music starts to play. He goes, and they hear a, I'm kidding, he goes, and says, with Naruto with a beaten and bloodied, he says, never to remove something like that again, you weak ass. And Christian has become so much cold-hearted. And he's different from all these other ones in his family. Some reason Naruto thinks that he's not even a part of their family. Because he has black hair instead of having the normal blonde or red hair. Kushina asks Minato why he has this, and she says that it's a rare occurrence between when a Namikaze and an Uzumaki have a child. He says, is he just adopted? Kushina slaps him in the face saying, your brother is not adopted. He's a part of our family, literally. I could literally go get us a DNA test and see if he is. He says, sorry, rubbing his face. When all 7 of them reach the top, they're led by Kakashi. He says, wow, 7 people? Christian says, no, 5 people. He goes, what do you mean? I see 7 people. Christian says, well, 2 of them don't really count. He goes, what do you mean? Christian says, well, Naruto benefits nothing to the team, so there's pretty much no point. Sasuke goes, well, Kiba says, I'll kill you. Christian. Then Naruto says, shut up, Christian. Christian says, what are you gonna do? Cut off my arm again? Cut off my hand again? Everyone says, what? Everyone is shocked at what he just said. They say, what do you mean, cut off your hand again? Christian pulls out his hand and says, Christian pulls out his arm, puts his hand out, saying, yeah, thanks a lot to Naruto, my hand is gone. So now I'm stuck with a hook, which is actually pretty cool. He says, now I'm stuck with a really good hook. So, you could thank your precious girlfriend, Kiba, for that. He goes, I never knew she was like that. She's always sweet to me. Christian says, she's a goddamn gold digger. She asks you for money every single day. He goes, I'm not gonna believe you. Christian says, whatever. Kakashi says that he's gonna have... Christian says... So Kakashi would announce what they want to do. What they introduce themselves. Naruto would introduce themselves. She says... Naruto would say, I'm Naruto Uzumaki, Naruto Namikaze. What I like, Kiba. What I dreams of the future, looks at Kiba. She says, things I hate, Christian. Christian goes, cool. Next is Christian's turn. Christian says, my hobbies are training my hook. Things I hate. I hate Naruto. She's annoying. Christian says, she says, shut up, you're so dumb. Christian says, wait, guy, he asked everyone, hey, did you guys hear that? He goes, did you guys hear that? They go, Naruto says, we didn't hear anything, you idiot. Christian says, yeah, exactly. Did you hear when I asked for your opinion? Everyone goes, oh, oh, oh. Even Kiba has to do that. Even Kiba goes, oh, yo, where are you at? Where are you at? Christian says, exactly. And my hobbies are defending Naruto from freaking Naruto and Taruto. And I always scare them. He says, Christian says, also, what I hate is this. Christian hates how he can't control his voice. Kakashi asks him to show a demonstration of how he can't. Christian says, well, this is how I can't. He goes, I can't control my voice line because of a certain reason. Now, he's about to burst everyone's eardrums. Oh yeah. Yargo, touch me, bird. Yargo, touch me, bird. So, do ye a favor. Christian says, for some reason, whenever I go,
you win some, you lose some.
If I say this word, you win some, you lose some. I'm just gonna fail this mission, and I don't care. I'm just gonna quit it. Christian says, whenever I say, you win some, you lose some, and
You play with fire, and sometimes you get burned.
then my voice starts to alter. He goes, everyone is shocked at what he does. That hurts Kiba's ears. He goes, ow! Christian, Naruto looks and throws a punch at Christian, saying, you hurt my boyfriend's ears. Christian says, if that fist goes one more foot forward, I'm pretty sure you'll end up all bloodied. She goes, shut up! He catches her fist and says, that's it. Then breaks her arm instantly. Then flips over, then he backflip kicks her to the ground. He goes, ha! He goes, Katon! Katon! Hitting her with a fireball, then going right below her, saying, lightning palm! Blasting with a lightning palm. She goes, ah! Christian goes, he goes,
You play with fire, and sometimes you get burned.
Christian means, like, if you try to attack him too many times, you're gonna get burned. And then he goes, he picks her up by her collar and says, and Christian says, one day I'm gonna traumatize you so you'll leave me alone. So, after that, after they all do their introductions, Christian's ask her best of friends because of how... Oh yeah, the Uchiha clan's still there too. One day, it happens again, but something different is here. Naruto sneaks into Christian's room, grabs his fox plushie, and Christian walks her room to see if she took it. Christian sees it, and she immediately puts out a match and lights it on fire till it's ashes. Christian goes... His eyes turn the same that day, drags her by the collar out of the house, then brings her to a training ground. Then instantly she goes, what do you do, you fr-? And then she immediately gets kicked in the face. Then he kicks her in the stomach, destroying her, like beating her down, like there's blood coming out of her with every punch. She goes, he goes, he goes, lightning palm, electrocuting her, then kicking her even again. Then he pulls out a kunai knife and slices her a billion times. He goes, back punching her into a face, hitting the wall. Then starts to body her going, Christian says, this next attack is gonna hurt a lot, so you might want to watch out. And goes, powering up all the way, going, he goes, Christian says, Naruto rushes at him with a punch. Christian says, And some of the villagers are contacting the 4th Hokage to show that his son is literally almost about to kill his daughter. Kushino rushes to the office telling Minato to quickly go to the training grounds because Kushino is about to kill Naruto. He goes, "What? What do you mean?" He rushes over, and he sees Christian going. Christian says, "You no good waste of space!" He says, then, when he goes for his final strike, Minato would appear right below him, about to blast him. Christian would dodge right out of the way and throw Minato. When he says, "How pathetic, father, trying to stop me." He says, "So pathetic. You don't even deserve the title of Hokage." He says, Minato says, "Christian, what happened this time?" Christian goes, he says, awakening his QB eyes again, saying, "What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong is this?" And pulls out some of the ashes, saying, "This is what's wrong. This!" And disappears right behind Minato and kicks Naruto in the air. He goes, "Ah!" Then from the air, he goes, "I'm gonna still make you." Absolutely destroying her, going. Now, as you see, Naruto is literally getting killed right now. Tons of villagers, tons of shinobi have to step in. Genma, Kakashi, Guy, Asuma, Kurenai, the 3rd Hokage, Tsunade, Jiraiya, they all have to try and stop him. He goes. Then with one quick aura burst sends them all flying back. He says, Christian says, "Again, there is nothing that will fix what happened. She will pay for what she did, and she will do it in the normal way." Tsunade said, Jiraiya, Minato says, "If you don't stop now, we're gonna have to kill you." Christian says, goes, he says, "You really think you can kill me? Sorry, but that's not gonna happen." He goes, "Now, if you'll just move out of my way, everything will be fine. Nobody else will get hurt." He says, "Would you please tell me why you even did this?" Christian says, 2 words, burnt ashes. He says, "That didn't give us anything." Christian says, "Fine, another 2 words, burnt plushie." He looks at Naruto and says in his head, she burned it, didn't she?" He goes, "These two need to be separated somehow." Now Christian goes and runs towards Naruto. Minato jumps in the front. Christian actually is about to punch Minato in the face. He goes, then Minato grabs him. He goes, says, and they have to try and find a way for him to be knocked out or some sort. Because the third Hokage says, in the rulebook of Shinobi, if someone kills someone important, they must be executed themselves. Christian goes, ah! He says, I don't care, kill me then. I don't give a crap. All I want now is to kill her. I don't care. I told her the next time she messed with me, she would feel so traumatized that she wouldn't even be able to look at me. Or even be next to my presence. That's why. Then Kushina starts to tear up in her eyes, saying that this is not her baby boy. This is not her kid. Definitely not. If this is how insane he was. Christian hears this and says, innately he starts to calm down randomly, like he starts to feel something that he's never felt before. He feels something weird in his chest. He feels like something breaks in him. And for the first time ever, he starts to sob, aka cry. And then falls to the floor, being knocked out unconscious for using that much power. Naruto is taken to the infirmary. Instantly. Now, yeah. Out of nowhere, the next Kushina is watching over Christian while he sleeps because she doesn't want any of him. Because once he wakes up, she wants to say that she didn't actually mean that. She said that because she wants to tell him what she really meant by that. When Christian wakes up and sees Kushina, he turns his head away. He says, Christian, I'm sorry, but it was the only way to calm you down. Christian, with tears in his eyes, says, that's the way you choose! That's the way! By saying I'm not even your kid? What the hell? Then turns his head. Then some letters are informed to the Hokage, to Minato's house. Kushina goes to get them. And when she does, tears stream down her face. In sadness. When Minato gets home, and Kushina is sobbing in the corner, well, actually on the couch. He instantly runs over to her and asks her what happened. She says that Christian has to be banished from the village for that. For what he did. He must be banished. Minato does not want to banish his own son. But it's strictly forbidden that if they don't banish him, he will be executed. Minato says that it's the only way. And they have to act, and we can't tell him the truth. At all. Or else that will crush his soul. And then he'll want to kill himself even more. Christian overhears the conversation and immediately gets into his depressed state. Christian says, I'd rather not have my pride taken away by being kicked out, so I guess it's time. Something happens. Christian goes into his room and puts a rope on the ceiling, then puts a little string around it. Now this is sad part. I mean, to people who actually care about this what if. え今されChristian looks at the rope and then grabs it. Then this starts to play. Then he writes a note, places it there, and then falls on it. And then, when Kushina walks in, ginormous tears fall down her face and she starts to scream. Minato runs in the room instantly to see what happened. Then, out of nowhere, he sees this. And that's it. He dies. For real, yo. Like, for real, he dies. Minato, with tears in his eyes, he says, he'd rather be killed. He'd rather kill himself than be killed by someone else. Minato and Kushina want to hide the fact that their other son is gone. They want to say that he went on a lifelong mission and that he'll be gone. Christian would probably agree to that. Christian, as an angel, agrees to this. To agree to this secret. A couple of months later, after Naruto and the whole squad are having... Sasuke asks Naruto a question, asking him where's Christian. He hasn't been here for the last 6 months. Naruto says that he went on a lifelong mission. Sasuke can tell that whoever told him that was lying. Sasuke says, I'm pretty sure whoever told you that was lying. Because there's no way no other shinobi can go on a lifelong mission. He goes and asks if he can come over tonight just to ask his parents what actually happened. 1, 2, 3 years later. Sasuke didn't come though. 3 years later. Now everyone's worried. Except for Kushina and Minato because they know what actually happened. Naruto says, when is he coming home? There's no way that was a lifelong mission. Naruto and Naruto are actually questioning that too. And with Minato and Kushina actually depressed kind of, they say, invite all your friends over, invite everyone on the team over. He says, okay, and brings everyone over. Kiba says, Naruto, why'd you ask us to come over? Naruto says, my parents have an announcement. He says, okay. When they all come in and sit down, Minato would say, as you all know, Christian has been gone for 3 years. And we made up the excuse that he went on a lifelong mission. Really? That day when Naruto almost died by him because of the 9 tails, he was either executed or banished. Everyone says, why? Everyone's like, and Christian chose the third option that didn't exist. He decided to spare his pride, to keep his pride intact, to not go be killed by someone, to not be killed for a petty rule, or he would not leave the village. He would not leave his home for a petty reason. So, Minato takes them to a place. Takes them to a certain actual, they take him to a mountain, like a hill, with a giant tree in a swing. With a giant swing. With a little swing. They say, this place is pretty cool, but why are we here? Kushina points. And they go, and they all cover their heads and their mouths, most of them with tears in their eyes. They go, what the? And they see a gravestone with Christian Namikaze on it. They say, what happened? Minato says he didn't want to spare his pride. So he hung himself instead of being killed by the village or being banished. He says, and we wanted to keep that a secret so you guys wouldn't go crazy on the village, being mad. Naruto wouldn't go and try and kill the whole village. And he even wrote his last words. They asked to see them. Christian says, they say, Minato says yes. And he shows them the book, the little note. It says, I'm sorry if that day. He says, goodbye everyone. This is the time I leave. I wish I could have been a better brother to Naruto and Naruto. And it also says, I'm sorry Naruto for what happened to you. But this is my end. I love you all. Christian. Ow! Flip! That actually hurt. I hit my arm on my bed thing that's made out of wood. Naruto, and Taruto have all tears in their eyes, super crying. After a while, Christian's wings start to lose their color. His wings start to lose color. They're starting to fade into a black. But every day Christian's in heaven, his sanity is going crazy. His sanity is going crazy. He can't take it anymore, and soon he goes insane. With him growing a horn, a black horn, and his wings turning black. He goes and finally he escapes heaven and making it back to Earth. He goes, when Naruto goes to check in the room just to see something because he heard footsteps. Naruto goes, Mom, Dad, Naruto. He yells, what is it, Naruto? He goes, look. They go, Christian with his arms out goes, he goes, things, going absolutely insane. He kicks down he says, I see you. And then Christian is placed in an asylum where his family visits every single hour to try and give him. When Naruto asks all his friends to come back because they have something weird that happened. When they come, they see a seal. They see someone standing right in front of them on the standing on the carpet, and like a wood barrier. He goes, everyone with tears in their eyes saying, is that Christian? He goes, they say yes, but he's lost his sanity. He's insanely crazy. anyone who goes near him will probably die. His eyes are literally just dots. He's got the white part and the dot. As for a pupil, he goes... Immediately he punches it. He punches the thing. Everyone starts to get scared except for like the Uzumaki family because they know what happens if he punches it. When he punches it, he gets electrocuted. He goes... Kushina goes, Christian, and says, Minato, we have to get rid of that shocker. That's gonna... Or else he's gonna lose his sanity more. Minato removes the shocker thing. He goes, let me out. Starts pounding on it, going... He's going insane. Insane. And it's hard for them to tell if... Alright guys, let me just fix up my settings. I gotta see how many minutes we're at. We're at 52 minutes. A couple of weeks later, when he's given slits of food with a cage, a couple of weeks later, when he has people to talk to, he's finally getting his sanity back. Day by day, he's still getting his sanity back. Naruto asked him a question one day, asking him why his wings are black instead of being white wings, because he's supposed to be an angel. Christian says, well, since I lost my sanity, I became a fallen angel. So now, I go insane whenever I'm mad. Christian says, also, I was given this when I came back. He pulls something from his back, pulling a sword out, saying, this is a demon sword. This is the dark blade. And says, I mean, I've pretty much gone insane. Christian's saying that he doesn't want anything to do with these Uzumaki and Namikaze jutsu. He'll use his chakra chains, but he will not use any other jutsu. He'll just focus on himself. Focusing on his demon powers. But when Naruto walks by just to talk to him, Christian doesn't even want to talk to her because of what he did. He thinks that she's gonna get mad at him for doing what he did. So Christian cradles up with his head below. She goes, Naruto asks her mom what happened to Christian and why is he cradling over. Kushina says that he still can't get over the guilt of what he did to you. And he can't even talk to you without without fainting or crying to death. He goes, oh. And she says, basically he has a mental breakdown. She goes, oh. And when the final month is done, he's finally got his sanity back, and he can do normal things except for talk to Naruto or even go near Naruto. Because he's still afraid that he might lose his sanity and try and kill her. Like he did that day. And finally he sleeps for a day. When Christian wakes up, he scratches his face, but then blood streams down his face. He goes, what the? He walks to the bathroom and looks at his hands. He says, what the? His hands are like demon claws. He goes, they're like energy demon claws. You know, like Six Path Naruto's claws? They're like those. He goes, but they're black. He goes, Christian cleans up the blood off his face and walks in and tries to release them, and then he does. Kushina says, when Kushina's in the kitchen, kind of tired, Christian says, Mom, I'll deal with it, you can go, I'll cook. He says, Christian says, even if I was lost my sanity, I'll cook demon-cooked eggs. Christian taps the eggs with his sword, cracking them perfectly, then putting them in and cooking them insanely good. He goes, and when he serves up all the food and starts to eat, Kushina says, you're finally going on your first mission, huh? Christian says, yeah, I'm still kind of behind, though. I'm still a genin. He goes, yeah, but you'll be fine. He says, hopefully. Hopefully I'm not too behind in strength. Christian says, well, we'll see. He says, when I lost my sanity, I trained a lot. He says, so I've been pretty strong, so hopefully I'm not completely weak. She says, hopefully, sweetie. When Naruto wakes up and sees all the food, he says, Mom, did you make this? She says, no, he did. Christian says, hey, Naruto. Naruto says, you finally got your sanity back. He says, not fully. I still have some fears. Naruto says, mine one? He says, mine saying one? Christian says, Kushina says, Naruto, don't question him. If you ask him the wrong one, then he might go crazy. He goes, okay. Instantly, when Naruto walks out, he starts to eat faster so that he can just go. He says, he eats, and once she sits at the table, he leaves. He goes, Naruto is normal to it now because she knows what happens. Naruto asks Kushina why Christian walks away. Naruto asks Kushina why Christian walks away from her every time he sees her. She explains that if he goes near her or even talks to her, he goes and has a mental breakdown. He says he still needs a couple of months to recuperate on it. When Christian gets out of the house, he pulls out his wings, and then he flies off to Kakashi's area. He goes and reaches and is the first one there. He goes, He says, oh, Christian, finally back. He says, so you got your sanity back. He says, yeah, Kakashi-sensei, I got my sanity back finally, but I still can't talk to one of my siblings. He says, that was pretty dangerous what happened that day. He says, please don't remind me anymore. He says, yeah, sorry. When everyone arrives, Christian is at the way back, where he doesn't have to be seen by anybody. And Kushina has done a measurement between how close Christian can go to, in case like they ever do like a line thing, or how close he can go to Naruto. And it's about a 10-foot radius, so he has to be in the back, or she has to be in the back, and he has to be in the front. No middle crap, because that's too much. Just saying, Naruto, all the Genin and all that crap, they're all tuning now. Kakashi wants to see a bell test. Will assess to see how Christian fights after being dead for 3 years. He goes, okay. When it starts, Kiba thinks that he's not going to be too strong since he's been dead for a while. When it starts, Christian starts to stretch, and Kakashi says, start! Instantly, Christian activates the demon claws. He goes, Kiba says, what is that? He shoots his arm forward. Remember, it can shoot out. And instantly punches Kakashi with full force. He goes, then jumps on a tree, then goes and kicks Kakashi in the face. He goes, then Kakashi would say, Fire Style, Fireball Jutsu! Christian would block it with his wings. Then his wings grow shiny, and Christian rams his wings right into Kakashi, actually hitting him. Christian says, I developed this jutsu over time. He says, Dark Rasengan! Ramming it right into him, going, Hurrah! And yeah. So then he'd stretch out his another demon claw, grabbing the bells. He goes, that was easy, that was hard. Christian says, I need to go back into shape with this fighting business. At nowhere, Naruto, and Naruto rush towards him, giving him a high five. Christian's smiling at first, but then his eyes open. Then, like, as all anime characters do, like, sometimes when there's, like, a heartbeat that stops the scene, he stops and looks to the left. He goes, no, 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 not this again! And falls back, running away. He goes, Naruto thinks that they're playing like a game, and so does Naruto, and so does Naruto. They all rush trying to tackle him, thinking it's a game. Then when they all tackle on him, Christian's pupils turn into dots. He goes, Then he knocks them all back, going, Stay away from me. Stay away. I don't want to hurt anyone. Then pulls out his blade. He goes, shoot, we forgot about that. Dang it, how do we keep on forgetting? Naruto says. Then, the next day, well, actually, then they go into their little, when they go back home, Christian wants to start getting back into fighting shape. And he wants to stop relying on his wings and his demon claws. He wants to use his Uzumaki and Namikaze powers. He wants to ask Minato for a whole lot of training. Minato will train him for a while. He'd go, Christian actually looks a little bit younger than all of them since he's been dead and he doesn't really age that much. He ages really slow. He goes, After about a month of training with Minato, he's finally gotten back to his old, a way stronger than his normal state. He knows Flying Raijin level 2, the Dark Rasengan. He knows how to easily control the Uzumaki chakra chains. Knows how to wield his wings. Knows how to use his demon claws. He's perfect now. He still has the Nine Tails in him. And has an amazing time. And that's it for this part, since this is like